What's up, old school homies? Let's talk about the lavender quartz. This is a fun material to collect because it is rare and it's very specific to the location that you find it in. So it makes it pretty unique. I'll just tell you how I found it. The first one that I found was this one. When I showed it to people that weren't rock collectors, they weren't too stunned by it. And as I showed it to rock collectors, they were stunned by it. It's a little light in color, but it did tell me that there was purple rocks in my area. And the more people doubted me, the more I stared at that rock and was like, is it purple or is it pink? And I eventually just named it a rose quartz because lavender is part of the color range of rose quartz. And I just told people, I found rose quartz. I wasn't wrong. But then I showed another one of these to my rock man that was more similar to that one. And this one's darker than the one I showed him. But we cut it open and he said that's a smoky lavender quartz because there was actually some smoky areas to it. And then I was like, alright, now we're kind of naming this two materials. So if it was all light, I could call it lavender quartz, but if it was with some gray, I would have to call it smoky lavender quartz. So I kind of ran with that for a while. And I was still trying to figure out why is this material purple. And the more I stared at it, the more I realized that there was actually some special qualities to this material. There was mica inclusions. See the mica right there? And it's actually really pretty if you get it in some of your larger specimens. You can see there's a little area at the bottom there where there's mica inclusions that are gold. So it started making the material a little bit more romantic for me, and I was like, wow, I got something that's quite unique. And I started looking online trying to find other specimens for sale of California lavender quartz to try to see if I could cross-examine my specific qualities to theirs. And this is usually what I would come up with on a search engine, something that looked around this color with fractures in it. I was like, okay, they have fractures too. And even my larger one that I found yesterday has fractures in it. And I read some blogs and they said, well, there is a history of lavender quartz in California, but it's pretty fractured material. So I read one article saying that someone sent a bunch of this stuff out and they sent it back and said it was too fractured to be cut into cabochons and stuff, which is what I'm doing to it. And I'm cutting them into thicker cabochons so they won't fall apart or anything, but these are pretty solid rocks. Some of them will have a crack here and there, you know. Look at. But even amongst the smaller ones, you'll see a lot of fracturing. And it kept bugging me, and I kept asking people, why is this material so fractured? And a lot of people would say, it's because of the manganese content. And manganese can turn rocks more of a pink color, like in rhodonite, or there's some pink marbles that we have in Death Valley and stuff. They're mostly made pink by manganese, so I started kind of running with that theory, because the more purple my rocks got, the more they looked kind of unstable. And then I started saying, well, these aren't even lavenders, these are too dark. And I said, well, these are all amethysts or smoky amethysts with mica inclusions. And you could run yourself in circles, but really, lavender quartz is a color range of amethyst. What more could we say about it? The rutiles are a giveaway that it's a rose quartz. The fractures, I've seen a lot of material from all around the world, Madagascar, Brazil. They always have those fractures, so that's kind of a tell. The iron oxide content, if you look at some of these rocks, they look kind of like they have little rusty areas. So I would say all of these are probably, for the most part, made purple by iron oxides like most amethyst is. What's special about it is amethyst is pretty rare. Now that we have some deposits that are larger, the price has gone down, but to find a deposit of amethyst that lasts, it usually doesn't happen. So having specific areas of amethyst does make it rare for the area.